election in New South Wales 8 days away. Dominic Perrottet trying to retain government for the Liberal Party. Otherwise, it will be a mainland clean sweep for Labor. Let's keep following the money as to where this contest is headed. Joining me live is Tabcorp's Gerard Middleton. Thanks very much for your time. A lot of murmurings, it's getting closer. Western Sydney's looking tough for Labor, but the money suggests some form of Labor government is getting more likely.
Yeah, exactly right. Great to be with you again, Tom. Markets have been pretty stable in the last week. Labor's firmed slightly, $1.20 into $1.18. The coalition has been $4.50 out to $4.75. Now, last week, 80% of the hold overall was for Labor to win. It's now 81%. So I would expect probably Labor to keep firming in the market. As far as type of government is concerned, it's just a question of whether the ALP can gain the 9 seats it needs to form a majority government. But the traders at Tab believe that a Labor minority is the most likely outcome, and the price for it has been steady at $2.15, a Labor majority at $2.50, and you're getting good value about a coalition win on Saturday week. In fact, it's getting towards the price that Scott Morrison was federally on election eve when he caused a shock in 2019. I think it was $5.50 the day before, Tom.
Okay, interesting omen there. That might send a shudder through the ALP, Gerard. Let's whip through some contests. Manly is an interesting one. It's Liberal held. It's an interesting field against Liberal Party, though. The Greens did reasonably well last time, but you've got independents sitting as well.
And you've, of course, got a seat that's federally almost completely within Warringah, which we know is Teal held. Look, we only opened the market in this seat a couple of weeks ago, and the punters pretty much said, you've got the price wrong here. We were a coalition at $1.07, the independent option $7. So all the early money was for the independent option. The Teal here is Jolene Hackman, backed by Climate 200. But the money has come back for the Environment Minister, James Griffin. In fact, overall now, 55% of the money is for him. In fact, yesterday, just firmed $1.40 back into $1.35, whereas the independent option went from $2.80 just back to $3. But it did open at $7.
Pittwater, also talking potential Teal territory here. The difference might be a retiring Liberal minister, and it might be a bit closer as a result.
Yeah, with Rob Stokes retiring, as you mentioned, and we opened that $1.90 each of 2 in the seat. But the coalition has firmed. Rory Amon up against an environmental lawyer here in Jackie Scrooby. But $1.90 into $1.60, and the independent option here, $1.90 back to $2.20. But falling again within McKellar federally, which is Teal held. So it's going to be one to watch.
Yeah, and I guess punters are very wary of the fact you've got optional preferential voting, harder for Teals to win in the same way they did federally. So it's a big difference in this election, and you are seeing that reflected in the odds there. Let's go to a Labor coalition contest. Winston Hills. I feel like this is almost a must-win if Labor is talking about a majority, but the odds are, pretty tight and still favouring the Liberal Party?
Favouring the Liberal Party, but the money's running 50-50 in this seat, Tom. In fact, Labor has firmed. It's getting towards just about a pick, as we say in betting parlance, $1.90 each of 2, but the coalition's still slightly favourites. We open $1.45 in this seat. They're back to $1.75. The MP here, Mark Taylor, and Labor's been $2.65 into $2, and you've got Semir Pandy, the candidate here, the Deputy Lord Mayor of Parramatta. So 50-50 to hold, one to watch, formerly known as Seven Hills, that seat.
Yes, so that's had a name change effectively. East Hills is one, well, it's such a tight margin here, 0.1%. If a couple of streets change their mind on this, it'll be Labor's, and the betting reflecting that if you're going to have Labor basically, all but locked in to form some form of government, this is just obviously a must-win.
Yeah, the coalition's most marginal seat heading into the election. It was bucking the trend as well, because there was some money coming for the coalition. After all, the early money was for Labor in this seat, but it's just started to firm up again for Labor. They're into $1.30 from $1.40 yesterday in the seat. The coalition $2.80 out to $3.20. So firming for Labor this seat in inner southern Sydney.
Yeah, okay, final one we'll look at is Goulburn, obviously, which is not far from where I am in Canberra. And again, interesting, because it's a relatively small margin at about 3%, but Labor is a long way from seen as over the line.
But the Coalition's primary vote in this seat dropped 10% in 2019. That was after Prue Goward, a popular local member, retired. Look, the Coalition has just firmed slightly, and the money's just slightly favouring the MP Wendy Tuckerman in this seat. It will be one to watch as the Coalition's fourth most marginal, though. $1.85 into $1.70, Wendy Tuckerman, and Labor's just been $1.90 back to $2.10, but a very tight market now. I just had a quick look at Kiama as well, Tom. Gareth Ward, who of course we know is running as an independent, still favourite to win the seat, $1.85 against the Coalition's $2.50.
Well, that's really interesting that the Coalition's obviously come in since they finally got a candidate. Gerard, great to get your thoughts. And we'll talk next week as things are really hotting up there. Remember, of course, gamble responsibly. For free and confidential support, you can call the National Gambling Hotline, 1800 858 858, or you can visit the website gamblinghelponline.org.au.